Can a phone feel completely new, even if it looks the same? That's exactly what Samsung is doing with the Galaxy Z Fold 7. It may seem familiar at first glance, but there's a lot more going on here than you'd expect. Let's break it down. With the launch of the Galaxy Z Fold 7 and Z Flip 7 just around the corner, we're seeing more and more leaks every day. But one detail that stood out? The Fold 7 might share its size with a model that most people never even saw. We're talking about the Galaxy Z Fold 6 Special Edition, which was only sold in South Korea and China. Most people didn't even know it existed. Now, Samsung seems to be using that special version as the base for the new Fold 7, but with one important change that makes a big difference. While the Fold 7 is the same size as that regional Fold 6 SE, Samsung has trimmed the bezels, and that means more screen space. To give you numbers, the regular Galaxy Z Fold 6 had a 7.6-inch display. The new Fold 7 will have an almost 8.2-inch display. That's a nice jump without increasing the overall size of the phone. So it still fits in your hand the same way, but gives you more room to work, watch, and play. This design trick is something we're seeing more often now, and Samsung is finally using it with their most premium foldable. Even leaked photos show it clearly. The Fold 7 looks bigger even though the frame hasn't changed. It's all about the screen-to-body ratio now. That extra screen space will be great for multitasking, like running 2 apps side by side or watching content on a nearly tablet-sized screen. So, while the phone may not look revolutionary, it could feel like a major step up for most users, especially if they're upgrading from the Fold 6 or older models. There was a lot of talk about what processor Samsung would use this time. And it's now confirmed. The Galaxy Z Fold 7 will be powered by the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 for Galaxy, also known as the Snapdragon 8 Elite. This is the same processor found in the Galaxy S25 series, and it's a solid choice. It brings fast performance, better battery life, and smoother gameplay. Samsung decided not to use its Exynos chip here, and honestly, that might be for the best. People trust Snapdragon more when it comes to heavy multitasking and gaming. Even though Samsung has lowered its sales targets for the Fold 7 and Flip 7, the company is still moving forward confidently. Foldables haven't become mainstream yet. Some companies are stepping back. Others, like Oppo, are still experimenting, like with the super thin Find N5 Apple. They're just waiting. They won't jump in until they can release something they feel is perfect. But Samsung? They've been leading this space for years, and they're not slowing down. And get this, Samsung might not stop with just 2 foldables. There's talk about a tri-foldable smartphone coming this year. Yes, a phone that folds twice. But don't get too excited. It's expected to launch in very limited markets and won't be easy to buy. Still, it shows Samsung isn't afraid to test new ideas, even if the demand isn't sky-high yet. So here's what you need to know about the Galaxy Z Fold 7. It's the same size as the Fold 6 Special Edition, but most people never had access to that model. It now has an almost 8.2-inch display, thanks to thinner bezels. It's powered by the same Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 for Galaxy chip from the S25 series. And while sales expectations are lower, Samsung is still leading the way in foldables, maybe even launching a tri-fold phone soon. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more updates on the latest foldables and future phones. Thanks for watching. Why might your next iPhone cost more than ever? And is it really because of new features or something Apple doesn't want to talk about? Reports are coming out that Apple is planning to raise the prices of the iPhone 17 series, which is expected to launch this September. Now, Apple hasn't confirmed anything yet, but sources close to the company's supply chain suggest it's seriously considering a price hike. On the surface, this could be explained by a thinner design or better camera upgrades. But the real reason might have more to do with global trade and rising costs behind the scenes than with flashy new tech. Right now, Apple is facing increasing pressure due to tariffs on goods imported from China. While some tariffs have been relaxed, smartphones are still affected, with some import taxes going as high as 20%. These extra charges make it more expensive for Apple to bring products into the US, especially since most iPhones, including the Pro and Pro Max models, are still assembled in Chinese factories. Apple has been trying to slowly move production to India and Vietnam, but those factories aren't quite ready to handle the more complex high-end models in large volumes. In the past, Apple has tried to avoid passing these extra costs onto consumers. They've worked to reduce production expenses, renegotiate supplier deals, and even shift some manufacturing. But according to new reports, they're running out of ways to cut costs without affecting quality. And that leaves them with fewer choices. Raising the price may be the only way left to keep profit margins steady. But Apple probably won't say it's because of tariffs or supply chain issues. That wouldn't sound too great in a product launch event. Instead, they're likely to highlight the new design and features of the iPhone 17 lineup. One of the most talked about models is the iPhone 17 Air, expected to be ultra-thin, possibly around 5.5 millimeters thick, and replacing the current Plus model. While this could look impressive, there may be trade-offs like smaller battery life. Meanwhile, the iPhone 17 Pro is rumored to feature a big camera upgrade, a 48-megapixel periscope telephoto lens capable of 10x lossless zoom. That's a serious jump from the current 12-megapixel lens, and Apple may use that to justify a higher price tag. For comparison, the current iPhone 16 prices in the US are iPhone 16 starts at $799 US, iPhone 16 Plus at $899 US iPhone, 16 Pro at $999 US, iPhone 16 Pro Max at $1199 US. It's unclear how much higher the iPhone 17 prices will go, but any increase could be tied to these new features. Even if they add noticeable improvements, the pressure from rising production costs and tariffs is a big part of the equation. One financial firm estimates that Apple sold about 65 million iPhones in the US last year, with over half of those being Pro or Pro Max models. That's a huge part of Apple's revenue coming from high-end buyers. With so much money on the line, Apple has strong reasons to protect its profits, even if it means charging more. Moving iPhone production out of China won't happen overnight. Even though Apple is investing in other countries, setting up a full supply chain that can handle the scale and complexity of devices like the Pro Max takes time. Until that happens, they'll keep relying on Chinese factories, and that keeps them exposed to tariff costs and political risks. If the iPhone 17 comes with a higher price, Apple will likely talk about the new design, better cameras, and faster chips. But what they might not say out loud is that global trade pressures and expensive production choices are pushing the numbers up too. Thanks for watching. If you want more simple and clear updates on Apple and the tech world, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel.
Could Samsung's trifold foam end up being a letdown before it even hits the market? For years, fans have been eagerly waiting for Samsung's next big move in the foldable phone world. After the flips and the foldable book-style designs, the buzz has now turned to something even more exciting, a trifold. When Samsung teased this innovative design during the Galaxy S25 event, it looked like the company was about to push the limits of foldable technology. However, as early details start leaking out, some of the initial excitement is being tempered by unexpected drawbacks. One of the biggest points of concern is the charging speed. Imagine this, a phone that folds into 3 parts, offering a screen that stretches out to nearly tablet size when fully opened. With all the latest tech Samsung is known for, you'd think the charging speed would be equally impressive. But rumors are circulating that the trifold could still charge at just 25 watts. That's the same charging speed we've seen on earlier foldables like the Galaxy Z Fold 5, and it's being reported that the trifold is being tested with a charging rate around 23 to 24 watts, officially labeled as 25 watts. Now, for most regular smartphones, 25 watts might not seem too bad, but for a flagship